Hello. All right. Are we going? I think we're going. How's everyone doing there? Just gonna blather on a little bit until maybe a couple people show up. What time is it? It's almost 4:30 here in France. So hopefully, what's that? Actually, it's kind of morning on the East Coast and even earlier. My friends out in BC and West Coast of the US. Hope everyone's doing well. I sure am. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon here in France, and thought I'd just hop on and talk a little bit about my record haul from Lyon, which is France's second largest city, and it's just right over there in that direction. About what are we talking about? An hour and a half in that direction. Not even an hour and a half. It was actually much quicker than I thought. So a couple of friends were in town, so we picked them up from Vichy and then hung out with us here, and then we dropped them off over in Lyon. And yeah, it's if you kind of look on Google, which maybe I will in a second. Actually, why don't I do that while people are hopefully people filter in that that there's quite a few stores in Lyon. Let me see if I can pull up a map here to get us ready. Share screen. Okay. There we go. Okay. That way I can actually show you what I'm talking about here. Let's whoop. Does that look better? Does that look better? Does that look better? How about that one? How does that look? Can you see that? Let's open it up. Nah, it's not very good, is it? Can barely see it. Anyhow, as some of you know, I like to take my camera around on my travels. Where is my camera? Let me get it. I can show you my destroyed camera. Hang on. Been too long. I should have really repaired my camera. Whoop. There we go. But yeah, because I normally, where is it? Normally, I like to take my camera with me when I go to new places. This is probably only the third time I've been to Lyon, and it's definitely no, actually, the first couple times I did pop in to some stores, but they were stores that were kind of in the more touristy parts of town, right? Because I was there with anyway, doing my tourist stuff. So this last weekend, or just yesterday, was the first time actually. Only Saturday. I'm in long weekend vibe mood already for some reason. But yeah, so I normally take my camera with me, just pulling it out here, and take some shots on the street. That way you can actually see the city, what it looks like, a little bit if it's friendly to shoot inside, which it sometimes is. But wow, I really wrapped this camera really well. Anyway, it's a little Sony, what is it, ZV-E10, is that right? Yeah. But I dropped it and boom. It's hard. Can you see that? No, not really. You know the little blue thing? If anyone has any tips for me here about how to repair this, that little blue lever that holds in your battery in this. In fact, almost every camera that I've owned has had the same little device. It's quite simple. But I fixed something else in here with some crazy glue, and then it ended up kind of holding this little lever in. So I'm not actually able to even put a battery in there anymore, which is a total bummer because I'm over here for 12 months, and as some of you know, I love to shoot my trips here and there. Anyway, so that needs to go for a repair. So I'm going to drop that off in Paris. I'm going to head up to Paris on my way up to the Den Bosch record fair, which is in the Netherlands. And so I'm hoping to have this fixed in time to do a little shooting at the at that big record fair. So yeah, so that's the reason why, unfortunately, I'm back to showing my Google Maps instead of showing me in my full glory walking the streets of, in this instance at least, was it full glory? It was pretty glorific in Lyon, France. So anyway, let me put that away, and yeah, I can start talking to you a little bit about my experience in Lyon. Lyon's about 2 hours from Paris. It was, or it is, on a TGV line. It's about 2 hour train ride from Paris. Just pulling over my albums here, and so it's pretty easy actually to get to Lyon. I'm about an hour and a half drive away, and stayed the night. Let's have a look here. Let's see if we can move my map around a little bit. Okay, let's do this. How's this? Whoa, it's kind of pushing me. Let's zoom in. Zoom in, Greg. Where are we? Okay, so this is the downtown of Lyon. I am pretty sure that this is the Rhone River, which is one of the main rivers in France, of course. And then there's some tributary. I don't know which that one is. Ah, see, you can see at the bottom it says Rhone River. And then the Rhone goes up north. In fact, we were just up in Macon, which is north of Lyon, which is a great place to go for particularly white wine. Those of you who are wine drinkers may have seen a Macon, Macon, on the front of some bottles in North America and France, in the UK and elsewhere, Germany, depending on where you're watching this. Okay, so I'll stop my my wine tour here, my abbreviated wine tour, and zoom in. And I think that it seems to be that there are kind of two areas where you can find record stores. At least there's a few record stores together. There used to be a couple over here. This is on the west side of the core, the downtown core. But unfortunately, one seems to have closed down. Is it this one? Let's check it out. The Sounds of Music. No, that one didn't close down. There's another one that I went into a couple times, and they had some good stuff. And it was right down in the old part of town, but I shouldn't have done that. I already took it off of my Google Maps. Anyway, this one I haven't. The Sounds of Music I haven't been to. So if you're able to watch this video, if you're still around with me, I think I got a tick on my back. Shit. And if you've been to this store, I don't know, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? Then yeah, can you drop me a comment or a note? Send me a text on Instagram, and let me know what your experience is here, because otherwise I'll ignore it next time I go. There's also another store down here at the bottom. This is the more on the right-hand side, which is the west side of the city, which is where the main station is. So if you take the TGV, you'll get off here at Lyon Pardieu, okay? And down at the kind of south end, there's a Japanese record store. And as you can kind of see, I haven't really tagged much around it, except for the Centre d'Histoire de la Résistance. It's a museum about the French Resistance. So that's something I want to check out. Okay, let's check out this Onigiri Records. Again, I haven't been here, so if you get a chance to drop me a comment on the video once it's uploaded, of course, or you're here now, let me know if you've ever been here. but it definitely looks to be a place where where it's mostly focused on Japanese imports, which I have mixed feelings about. Anyway, disquaire, so record store. Disquaire is a record store, and it's also a cafe in there, which seems to be, I don't know. I'm just thinking back home. Are there a lot of record stores that have cafes in them? Um, they're not. There's clearly not as many as there are here in France. So I'm going to say, but again, let me know what your experience is. Okay, so those are just a couple outlying areas or stores, at least, that may or may not be worth checking out if you have more time than I do. But I would say that the best place to go if you only have a little bit of time, which is literally had 24 hours, is this neighborhood called La Croix-Rousse. Okay, the Red Cross. Okay, let's have a look. And this is the area which is just north of the city hall, which I'm gonna say, and there's also some kind of, oh, here it is, Hotel de Ville, so City Hall. And there's a wonderful square here. I believe here at the end, let me zoom. Ah, yeah, it's the opera. Look at that. That's a beautiful building. I think they've redone the roof. I have mixed feelings about that. Anyway, so this is a really beautiful square here. There's a musée, there's a fine arts museum, Musée des Beaux-Arts, which is right there. And the subway stop, which here it is, that you want to get off at is the Hôtel de Ville Pradelle, and there's two lines there. There's the red line. Do you call it the red line? It's definitely the yellow line. Yellow line, the C line, or the A line. So very central. Okay. So this is where you want to get off. And as you can see, let me just go through them. There's like one Watts, Unité, Tiki Vinyl Store, Regli, and Sofa. Actually, and there's also Danger House as well. So those are the ones that I kind of put on my map, so to speak, or not, so to speak. These are the ones I put on my map, and I thought we could do my pal and I could do like a kind of a circle and circle back here. So I think we started at about 1 o'clock. It seems like a lot of the stores in Lyon open up at 1 o'clock, and we started off here at Watts Records. So let's pull that up, have a look, and then I can pull out my LPs and we can have a look at what I found. So from the outside, this is unfortunately taken at night, isn't it? Let's see if we can find. And that one's taken at night, and that one's taken during the day. It's as you can see, it's you can see the door on the right-hand side and over here. So it's not a particularly large record store by North American standards, let's say. It's it looks quite small and kind of boutiquey. And I would even say when you walk in, you kind of have the feeling that, like, is there any used? Are there any used records in here, or is this one of these kind of more curated, more hipster, in my experience, slightly overpriced new release record store, with all the new stuff? And those are the kind of stores that I 99% of the time will just give a pass on, right? Unless I'm looking for a popular new release, but I clearly wasn't. If you're new to this channel, I'm looking for freaky jazz, almost exclusively. Maybe some weirdo psych or something like that, some avant-garde, maybe some punk, but I'm mostly looking for jazz. Anyway, so Watts Record Shop. I think we'd set ourselves, I'm going to say, we got there at 1 o'clock till about 4 or I think 5 o'clock to do a tour. And we were at this record store for, we were there for 2 hours. It was like the first record store in Lyon. And yeah, it was awesome. Anyway, here's my new bag. Let's move that over to there's my new bag. Okay, let's drop this off. since we only really we went to 4 record stores. I'll get to that, but let me pull out the records that I got from Watts Record Store. I'll kind of show you the kind of things that they had here. Well, they did have a couple uh, Sam records, which are not the most difficult records to get, particularly in the United States. In Canada, you can find them, but they tend to take a little longer to show up. Like this one was released, I'm going to say what? Oh, definitely over the last year. Some Mal Waldron's live from 1970 live concert in Paris. And let me do it. That way's a bit better, isn't it? I'm kind of ratcheting my neck. And you can see it's from Sam Records, which also has a store in Paris, which I still haven't been to. They're only open on the weekends, so they have very limited hours. But this one I haven't seen back home in Toronto yet, so it's been on my list for a while, and I picked that up. Unfortunately, the side B has some clicks on it, so it's kind of driving me a little nuts. It's a great session, but I'm not sure if it's my my needle. I don't think it is. I may actually take that with me and try to return it to the store. I'm not sure if they do that. Here's the other Sam records, the Art Blakey, the new Jasmine, and we've got Freddie Hubbard. This is a lineup that you don't see a lot with Art Blakey. Nathan Davis didn't play with him very long. Jackie Biard, Reggie working on bass. Anyway, those of you who don't have any of these albums, they're just beautifully done. You know, it looks like the old 60s LPs. Anyway, so very happy again from Sam Records, decent price. Hopefully that one is in better shape or there's not a click on it. I've had good experience with Sam Records, so I was kind of disappointed. Okay, so those were both from Watts. This is an album that I've been looking for a while, and it was only €8. Okay, Los Compadres from Pacheco y El Conde. My Spanish is horrible. This is a Colombian / kind of Cuban style LP from, I believe it's 1972. This is a French version. These aren't terribly expensive. I think this version is going for about $30, something like that. There we go. On Fania, I've never heard of that. Let me take that out, just because it's an interesting find there. And this is clean. Got this for a song. Got it for €8, and it sounds terrific. It's not the heaviest thing you're ever going to come across. It is from 72, so maybe anyway, it sounds fantastic. The songs are killer. I think it was released a few times in the early 70s. If you ever see it, let me show you. I'll pull out and I used to be a bigger fan of this style of music. But there we go. That's looking better. I've got my window right next to me, so this is a terrific LP. Okay, someone's written on the back. Look at those two heroes, huh? So I played that, and it's incredible again, and I didn't pay very much for that. €8, or what's that? $7 something, $9 US dollars. Okay, so that was at Watts as well. Oh, damn, did I leave that? Yeah, I think I left. The other one I wanted to show you was actually it's down on my turntable. Wow, that sucks. So we may have to cut short. Yeah, unfortunately, the other one I got was down. It's downstairs. I was really enjoying it. There was a whole section of new releases there at Watts that I had not heard of the label that was reissuing them. I've never heard of them. They're from Paris, hang on one second. If you want to just hang on with me, I'm gonna just do a quick search here and I'll pull it up because they had absolutely terrific. If you're into free jazz or avant-garde jazz, stuff that you're absolutely not going to find the original copies of. Hang on, let's go in here and let me pull this up. Okay, let me go in and so this label here it is, Souffle Continu. Okay, can everyone see that? There you go. So, Souffle Continu is actually a record store in Paris. It's it's a little bit far away from the other record stores. I'm going to say right in front of Père Lachaise, which is, of course, the cemetery where you're going to find a lot of big literary figures from France, and also Jim Morrison, right? So if you want to sift through there and find Jim's grave, there's always tons of flowers and crazy shit ass stuff there. There's always like one or two people there smoking drugs as well. It's pretty fun. But they also reissue some really interesting early 70s French jazz, avant-garde and free jazz. And so I picked up a couple of LPs. Unfortunately, they're downstairs. Maybe I'll do a stream just on those another day. So okay, so that's Watts. Watts is, I would say, was a huge find. First on our list, the staff there were super, super friendly. Um, Made us coffees, after we'd been there for 5 minutes. I guess after we'd kind of, had a pile of three or four, if not five or six LPs, they thought, okay, we need to start to take care of these boys here. Um, and yeah, and so they were wonderful, wonderful crew there. Would highly, highly recommend it. If you only have a little bit of time and you're looking for more alternative, both reissues, old stuff, weird stuff, then highly, highly recommend Watts Record Store. Okay, so let's zoom back in again. There's Watts Records. Let's zoom in. Okay, and then I just checked in with the fellows at Watts, because we were running out of time already. I think it was 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I kind of had Sofa Records on my list, but he said, "Oh, check out Regli as well," and it was just around the corner. So we went to Regli. As you can tell, again here by the photos, a pretty small entrance, so I wasn't expecting a huge store. Let's see. Oh, there's not a bad photo there. Here, there we go. That's a bit better. So yeah, as you can see, a pretty small store. In fact, they've changed it a little bit now. You can see on the front there's a hip hop and a disco section. For whatever reason, in France and especially in Lyon, what they don't just have a disco section, it's Italian disco, which is kinda hilarious. It's own particular subgenre, I guess, that's very popular in this part of the world. Not necessarily with me, but hey. Um, and then to the right here, was a really great selection of jazz. So the huge bin of free jazz. Um So they had an avant-garde bin, they had a free jazz bin, they had a bunch of other ones, like kind of subgenre jazz, fusion, so soul jazz. Just thinking what else they had. They had vocal jazz, some stuff I very rarely look in vocal jazz. European jazz, a few things like that. Anyway, and then there was a full-on just jazz section. Usually, in my experience, bins of jazz tend to be what? Not the specialized or the subgenre bins. They just tend to be filler. They just tend to be just crap, right? Absolute crap. Here at Regli, it was just full of really good stuff. There was zero zero filler there at all. So we're talking multiple copies of every studio album from Coltrane, for example, was there. Like almost every studio album and multiple copies, French copies, American copies, so on and so forth, right? So there was stuff there again in the regular bins that I'd look for whatever 10 years, but it was great. Anyway, so there was also as if those of you who've been to Paris will may have been to the jazz, what's it called, Record Center, Red Jazz Corner. Well, I haven't been there for a while, and they just love to kind of pile up their new. So there isn't a well, actually there was a new bin there, a couple of new bins, but in the jazz section there was stuff piled up like this. No, we're talking 30, 30 records in two or three spots. So I went through those pretty quickly and realized that okay, this is going to be an awesome dig. So basically, we set out to go record shopping. Got in that area of Lyon at 1 o'clock. Spent 2 o'clock, 2 hours at Watts, and spent the rest of the time. So another 2 hours at Regli. Never made it to Sofa. Never made it anywhere else. So anyway, so here, let me show you what I found at Regli. Regli, yeah, it was a bit of a scene there. It's kind of one of those record stores. Again, it's all used. It's super dusty. The prices are kind of middle of the range Discogs, if not a little bit lighter, a little bit nicer. That is cheaper. So for me, that's a pretty sweet spot, especially if you're traveling in this part of the world. If you're traveling in London, if you're traveling in Paris, it's awful. Prices are tend to be really bad, right? Tend to be outrageously high. But our experience in Lyon was that the prices were actually quite good. So yeah, so Charles Tolliver, this is on Freedom, and look at that for a lineup. Doesn't get much better than that for early 70s. I'm going to say, actually, this is from 68. I thought this may have been released in the 70s because maybe it's just because of the names on there is kind of that kind of funky Bart's, Hancock and Tolliver. This is wonderful. This is on Freedom. Black Lion Productions. Let me have a look here. I haven't actually. I listened to this in the store, but and it sounded good, and it is just clean clean I don't think it's been played before. It's just sparklingly clean. Got it for a song. Tolliver. Yeah, awesome stuff. So that was the score. The grading there was nice. You can tell stores where the owners take some pride, right? Take some time in their inventory, writing little notes, little sticky notes, and also grading the LPs, which were all graded, I think, very conservatively. So yeah, so I was very happy. This one, I'm just trying to read one fact. What did he put there? So it was like 28 euros. He gave me a deal, so I can't even new blah blah blah. It's in French, but I still can't read it. Um, this is the mid 80s. I'm gonna say 86. Is that right? 85. Emily Remner Catwalk with John Dirth, Eddie Gomez, and Bob Moses. Let's have a look here. It's the label CJ. I don't know this label so much. Anyway, there she is on the back. This is terrific. This is I would say this is a hands down. Was this her best LP? Not sure. You have to have this one in your collection. It smokes. It really smokes. Um, Fabulous songs. I think she wrote all of them. Yeah, all songs composed by the guitarist. So on Concord Jazz, what did I call it? Oh shit, nearly fell out. I called it C Jazz, CJ Concord Jazz. Is this the French? No, this is the German. This is a German copy, and true to form, German copies sound absolutely excellent. I'm going to say actually that of all the albums that I bought in this, I wonder if this is digital. Could surprise me if it wasn't. This actually sounds the best out of all the LPs that I bought on Friday. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic. Or Thursday, I should say. Thursday was in new. Catwalk by Emily Remner. If you see it, snag it. I don't know if it's been reissued. Let me know in the comments if it's been reissued. But it absolutely smokes. And again, the price is right. I think this goes last time I looked, it was going for about 35 or 40 US dollars on average, something like that. Not super well known, but well known enough. Okay, so that's Emily Remner. What else do I have here? I don't normally buy these prestige, the green label ones, which are from the 70s, but this had had an RGB stamp in it, which they do now and again. Can't see for looking. This is one of the last Red Garlands that were on my list. So it's a fantasy release. It's not a strictly a prestige. Here, let me pull that out and show that to you. Yeah, in pretty good shape. So I'm going to say this is a release from 72. Again, on fantasy, and many of the fantasy green label fantasy slash prestige are okay sounding, I'm going to say. But this one is got the stamper on it from, so it's a Van Gelder stamp, Van Gelder stereo stamp on both sides. Voila. And again, that was a nice price as well. So Red Garland, that was a really good price, actually. Particularly given that he knocked off some money at the end, given all these LPs. Again, this is from Wrigley. Wrigley, I think it's the name of the fellow who ran the store there. He had like two of his pals there, and they were having a big debate about French politics, which at this particular time is pretty horrible. But we'll just leave it at that. This is the only, no, that's not right. Strike that. Oh, well, let me say this is the only original copy of an album that I got. And I just noticed something really bizarre on this. Okay, let me show you what it is first. And then I'm going to have to do some digging on this. Okay, this is weird. All right. Back up here, Greg. What are you freaking out about? Philly Joe Jones and Elvin Jones, the Jones brothers together. Is it the first time? Anyway, that's on Atlantic. Let's have a look. Here we go. This was a little bit more expensive. Yeah, more like mid 24, 25. In good shape, like VG plus. But listen, just as I open this, I got to show you the labels on this. This is a nice session. And I really picked it up because I like jazz drumming, but it's also got Hank Mobley on it, Blue Mitchell, Curtis Fuller, and Wynton Kelly. So it's quite the and Paul Chambers. Holy smokes. Okay, now, all right. So I just noticed this now. So here's side 2. You can see at the top, Philly Joe Jones, Elvin Jones together. But on side 1, what WTF? What is going on there? Huh? That's bizarre. I am going to have to drill down and see what is going on there. It's Magic by Barbara Lewis. Okay, let's just do a little bit of research here. It's Magic, Barbara Lewis. Yeah, it's a totally different LP. Of course it is. Um, that's kind of weird, huh? Um, all right. So I have an LP that has the right label on one side, but it has this LP, this Barbara Lewis. It's Magic, side one, but it is not Barbara Lewis. I have played this. It sounds good, but that is something I have never seen in my life before. And I'm looking at the guy's notes here. What's he say? A little bit of noise at the beginning. No. So anyway, bizarre, huh? That is completely bizarre. If you just joined us, okay. Again, there's side two, which is the right label, Philly Joe Jones, Elvin Jones, and Barbara Lewis, It's Magic. Wow. Okay. Never seen that before. Anyway, so that's my haul from Rugli. If anyone wants to come up and say hi, let me know. Just drop a comment in and we can chat. But otherwise, what else did I got? Okay. No, I've got that one from before. So yeah, so went to Lyon on Thursday and yeah, got 10 LPs and really only visited 2 stores. Let's go back to the map. There is another kind of DJ store that we popped into, but I didn't find anything. Let's head back. Okay, where are we? Let's go back. Okay. Let's go back to Lyon here, and I'll show you another store that we went to, which is actually shit. Come on, Greg, pull it together. All right. Sorry. Oh, my foot's asleep. Shit. Google Maps. Let's pull that up. All right. Oh, my foot is totally asleep. I've been balancing all the LPs on my lap. All right. So now that I've been going on and on about Watts and Wrigley, let me just do a little infill here. And again, if anyone wants to pop up, let me know. Here it is. Unité Centrale. Yeah, pretty imposing kind of frontage there, I'm gonna say. But they had a pretty decent selection. Let's open this up so you can see. That's it. So you kind of come in, you go down underneath, and they have so the middle selection here in the middle is the middle selection is mostly, kind of rock and folk, and there's a little bit of jazz, but it's mostly DJ and dance music. But they had very good prices there. They had a lot of Italian stuff. Again, you're not too far from the border here in Lyon. And did pick up a couple things, but didn't end up buying it. But if you're in Lyon, you're more interested in kind of ambient dance, drum and bass, all that good stuff, right? DJ like music, then Unité Centrale is the place to go. I'm sure there are probably others. I don't know if there are other DJ like or dance music like record stores in town, but they had used stuff there. The other one that we didn't end up getting to, which I've heard from a few people, is really worthwhile, is Sofa Records. And I think they probably have the largest used selection. Anyway, it doesn't look huge actually to me, but yeah, looks like the same size as all the other stores I went into. But again, the quality of the record stores was very high. It's very high quality. Um, and I would say both Wrigley and Watts record stores, again, the prices were the best that I've come across here in France, and probably among the best of the record stores I've been to in Europe. So I was very happy. And again, 90 minutes away down the road from me. So I'll probably pop over a couple more times before I head back to Toronto. But yeah, super happy. My collection is brewing away here. I'm probably more up to I don't know, 40 or 50 LPs, enough to keep me entertained, enough to make a dent on my credit card. But yeah, so there we go, folks. I'm gonna probably call it a day, since I've left all my other stuff downstairs. Unless someone wants to come up, yeah, I'm going to take off. And yeah, stay tuned for another episode of Jazz Tourism. Where am I going to be next? I'm going to be up in Paris for a record show on the early November. I forget the date. Early November, there's a record show on a Tuesday during the week. Then I'm heading up to Den Bosch. Really looking forward to meeting a few folks up there from the vinyl community. So yeah, maybe I should start saving a little bit of money. Anyway, see you later, everyone. Take care.